I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons first. Thank you so much to my Bibliospren, Bibliohowlers, and my Bibliomancers. It means a lot to me that you give me your extra support for my passion and hobby. Hi everyone, Petrik here. So today's video will be about my September wrap-up. And in the month of September, I finished reading 6 titles. And although that sounds really good, but honestly, out of these 6 titles, the 2 of them are actually short stories or novelettes. As for the remaining 4, they are novels. But as far as September goes, it is a very mixed reading month because, as my thumbnail says, I found another addition to my list of 5-star books this year. But at the same time, I also found my first 1-star of the year. And apparently, well, that will be the first title I talk about today. And yeah, it is a novelette. If you have watched my negative video last month, then this is that title. This is Defending Elysium by Brandon Sanderson. And to be fair, this is one of the first stories that Brandon Sanderson has ever written, way even before, I think, before Elantris, his first debut novel, was ever published. So yeah, it's kind of understandable why the writing doesn't feel as well polished as it is now. But as far as the story goes, all the execution and pretty much everything, all the ideas, it felt like everything was crammed up into this one small novelette. And all these ideas and concepts actually need more pages. It simply needs more pages. And the book is really short. It's only about 40 pages long. And although people told me that I should read this one after I finished reading Skyward, the first book in the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson, and I did that. I read Skyward first, and then I read Defending Elysium, and it was just so disappointing. Everything about this title, everything about this story, none of it clicked with me. As I said, the writing felt unpolished. The plot twist doesn't feel surprising or mind-blowing at all because, as I said, it needs more exposition and also more pages for character building and development. And I know that Brandon Sanderson usually writes big books like the Stormlight Archive or the first Mistborn trilogy. But from my experience, when Brandon Sanderson writes novellas, they are always really good. Most of the time, they are incredible, like The Emperor's Soul, Dawn Shard, and also Mistborn Secret History. I entered this one, Defending Elysium, expecting that it would be something near the quality of the 3 titles I just mentioned, and it's not. And yeah, I gave this one a 1.5 stars rating. It is, as of this moment, the lowest rating I gave to a title within 2023 so far. But fortunately for the next story I finished, this is an amazing short story, or again, novelette, but this time by a master of writing short story, and it is from Ken Liu. This is For the Passing of the Dragon by Ken Liu. This is his newest short story that you can actually read for free on Tor.com website. And I highly recommend you to do that. Whether you are a writer, a reader, or a reviewer, I highly recommend you to check out this piece of short story. It is amazing, absolutely well written, and it talks about art, the meaning of becoming an artist, the meaning of interpreting art, and also intention behind writing a story. It is absolutely incredible in my opinion. In such a short story, Ken Liu managed to pack so many important topics and themes of becoming an artist, and also regarding the importance of art and how every art is interpreted differently among each individual. This is why I always say every reviews, every opinion, all of them toward a book or a piece of art, they are all subjective, never completely objective. I do not think it is possible. And Ken Liu talk about this in much more detail and, well, so much more better than I could anyway. Highly recommend it, and yeah, it is free anyway. I think it possibly will take you at most 1 hour to read. And now let's talk about the 4 novels I finished in September. The first one actually took me much longer than I expected, and this is for Esrahaddon by Michael J. Sullivan. Esrahaddon is the 3rd and the final book in the Rise and Fall trilogy, and it is also Michael J. Sullivan's biggest novel in his entire career so far. I think the word count for Esrahaddon actually matches the total word count for the Heir of Navron omnibus. So yeah, so Heir of Navran combine Wintertide and also Persepliquis. Esrahaddon is as big as Wintertide and Persepliquis combined, more or less anyway. And speaking of Persepliquis, Persepliquis is a prominent setting in Esrahaddon. And if you have read the Rairia Revelations, then you will know who Esrahaddon is. And well, this is, of course, my most anticipated book by Michael J. Sullivan ever since the completion of the Rairia Revelations, and also, well, pretty much all the books in the Rairia Chronicles so far. Because Esrahaddon is a character. It's a character introduced in the Rairia Revelations, and although he became an important character in the Rairia Revelations, but we never knew the full details of his background, his personality, and also his coming-of-age story. And we get all of those in Esrahaddon. It is amazing, really. This is why in my Michael J. Sullivan's reading guide, I said that if you want to read Esrahaddon, I think it is very crucial that you read at the very least all the books in the Rairia Revelations first. And well, it goes without saying that you have to read Legends of the First Empire and the previous two books in the Rise and Fall trilogy first. This one, although not totally the final book in the world of Elon, but this one works like a culmination of everything that Michael J. Sullivan has written so far. It touches upon element and background established in Legends of the First Empire, essentially working as a sequel to Legends of the First Empire, while also continuing as a bridge to the Rairia books. It is an important novel, and also it goes into full details regarding the... Oh my god, I cannot really say this, but yeah, I cannot really say this because it is a spoiler, but let's just say that I absolutely love reading Esrahaddon's development with Jerish and also Nevrik. And one of the things that Michael J. Sullivan nailed really well in Esrahaddon is how he changed our perception toward Goblin in the world of Elon. Not only in the world of Elon, because every time we talk about Goblin, we always see them as these scary creatures and evil. But here, let's just say that Michael J. Sullivan has put a twist to the goblins of the world of Elon. Just like how there are good and bad people in humanity, well, apparently the same thing also for goblins. And there are certain aspects in this book, if you have read the Rairia Revelations, specifically in Avamparta, well, it just gave me goosebumps. Yeah, some scenes in Avamparta in Esrahaddon gave me goosebumps. If you have read the Rairia Revelations and you have read Esrahaddon, you will know which scene I'm talking about. This is regarding Esrahaddon hearing something. You will know what I'm talking about. So overall, I really love Esrahaddon. I think it is the best of the Rise and Fall trilogy. But honestly speaking, there were a few things in this book that, well, slightly decreased my enjoyment. It was the introduction, also the focus on some unnecessary POV characters. I'm just not sure why Michael J. Sullivan decided to focus on these new POV characters. I don't even remember their names anymore. They are that forgettable and unimportant to the entire narrative. And well, yeah, that's a bit of a disappointment. But other than that, I love Esrahaddon. It is a great book and the best of the Rise and Fall trilogy. Now that I am done and caught up with all of the books in the world of Elon, I can, well, safely say that although I love Legends of the First Empire and also the Rise and Fall trilogy, unfortunately, I must also mention that none of the books in Legends of the First Empire and the Rise and Fall trilogy ever managed to reach the height of the Rairia books, in my opinion. The closest one would be Age of War, Fairy Lane, and also Esrahaddon, but none of them are 5-star books for me. I did give them a 4.5 out of 5 stars rating though. And now moving on to the next book that I finished, it was Ascendant by Michael Miller. This is the first book in the 5-book series called The Songs of Chaos. And yes, this is a Dragon Rider progression epic fantasy. Not completely similar to the Bound and the Broken series by Ryan Cahill or the Echo Saga by Philip C. Quinchell. Although if you do enjoy reading those two series, like I did, I do still recommend you to pick up the Songs of Chaos series. But this one is certainly different compared to those two, especially the magic system. Without going into too much detail, Ascendant actually features a hard magic system, and the relationship between Holt and Ash. Ash is the blind dragon that you can see in the cover art here, and this is Holt. And yeah, the relationship between these two, they are just so precious. I love reading their interactions, their development, how they found each other, and how they took care of each other. I already posted a full review of Ascendant on my YouTube channel, so if you want to know my full thoughts, feel free to check out that video review. But suffice to say that I did enjoy this one. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars rating. I think it is an enjoyable start to a fantasy series, and I expect Unbound and Defiant, the second and the third book in the Songs of Chaos, to be even better than Ascendant. It is certainly a modern fantasy utilizing many aspects of the tropes that usually can be found in classic fantasy. And I look forward to reading Unbound within this month. And moving on to the next book I finished, this one took me 18 days to read and finish. And it is, of course, The Path of Daggers by Robert Jordan. This is the 8th novel in the Wheel of Time series, the second supposedly slog installment of the Wheel of Time. And not gonna lie, the first half of The Path of Daggers was indeed a slog. I struggled a lot reading the first half of The Path of Daggers. But overall, I did actually enjoy The Path of Daggers more than A Crown of Swords. Not by much, but still, overall, it is better than A Crown of Swords. A Crown of Swords actually took me 35 days to read. That's the longest I ever spent on reading a single book. And I am really pleased this situation is not replicated in The Path of Daggers. Well, to be fair, The Path of Daggers is the smallest book in the entire The Wheel of Time series, not counting the prequel novel New Spring. But yeah, it is the smallest book, and there were still some really, well, epic moments happening in The Path of Daggers, specifically in Egwene's and also Randaltor's POV chapters. But it is unfortunate that Matrim Cotton, one of my favorite characters in The Wheel of Time, did not appear at all in this book. It is such a shame. Hopefully he will be back in the next book, A Winter's Heart, that I probably will read in the month of December or maybe in January. The first half of The Path of Daggers was a big struggle for me because I simply did not like being in Elaine's head and also Perrin's. Perrin's relationship with Phil is one of the worst of the entire series so far. It is one of the worst aspects of the entire series so far. Their relationship is just so toxic, and also it made Perrin's character development so slow throughout the whole series. I mean, it's been 8 books long and he still hasn't changed a lot compared to the first time he started, especially when he's compared to the other Tavern like Randaltor and also Matrim Cotton. And the same thing is also applicable to Elaine. I just don't feel like she has developed a lot as a character, and she did not have that distinctive voice that I like to read in a lot of fantasy books. I mean, even though I really dislike Nynaeve because she is just so infuriating and also thick-headed, but at least her POV chapter still feels distinct. And no, Nynaeve actually doesn't have a lot of POV chapters or at all, I think, in Path of Daggers. But anyway, just like Ascendant, I already post a full review of Path of Daggers on my YouTube channel, so if you want to know my full thoughts regarding Path of Daggers, well, feel free to check out that video as well. But I just want to say that what Randaltor did in Path of Daggers, it was epic. I really love the battle scenes against Xian Shan in The Path of Daggers. And finally, the last book that I finished last month, it was Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruocchio. And if you have seen my previous video review on this book, then you will know that this is the only book that I gave a 5 out of 5 stars rating in the month of September. And yeah, I know that we are in the month of October now, but this is actually the 9th novel that I gave a 5 stars rating this year so far. Hopefully, I will find more before the end of the year. But Empire of Silence, as I said in my video review, no other series has ever been recommended to me as much as the Sun Eater series. And again, I just need to thank all of you who keep recommending me to start reading the Sun Eater, especially because I actually stumbled upon the advanced reading copy of Empire of Silence in the year 2018, early 2018. What was I thinking actually skipping on that? But anyway, I'm glad that it's better late than never, right? I'm glad that I finally took a chance upon this book again, and I love this very much. Hadrian Marlowe's narration is so compelling, and I love reading Christopher Ruocchio's prose so much. I'm really blessed and feel lucky that I still have 4 available novels, so far anyway, 4 available novels published in the entire series, and also multiple novellas and a collection of short stories to read. Basically, I still have a lot of content in the Sun Eater to read and devour, and I love that. I'm happy for it. Hopefully, by the time time I read Ashes of Men, the 5th novel in the series, hopefully by that time I will have access to Disquiet Gods, the 6th book and the penultimate book in the Sun Eater series. I don't think I need to say too much on Empire of Silence in today's video because I just posted my full review regarding this book previously. And if you want to know my full thoughts, then you can check out that video. But I just want to say that this was amazing, and if this is actually the weakest of the series, then well, this is about to become my new obsession, and hopefully this will be the strongest challenger to challenge the position of Red Rising Saga to become the best sci-fi or space opera series that I have ever read. Because before reading Empire of Silence, I was so confident with Red Rising Saga becoming my #1 favorite sci-fi or space opera series. Now, after reading Empire of Silence, this is definitely a strong challenger to earn the title. Let's see whether this will win by the time I reach maybe Ashes of Man or Disquiet Gods, because there are 6 books in the Red Rising Saga so far. So it is a fair battle between the two of them. But who knows, maybe I will end up choosing this one over Red Rising Saga much earlier, maybe by the time I finish Howling Dark or even Demon in White, which, if I'm not mistaken, has been hailed to be the best of the entire series so far. Empire of Silence is definitely the best sci-fi debut that I have ever read so far. Absolutely incredible, well written, and bloody ambitious. Love this one very much, and I'm looking forward to reading Howling Dark probably in the next 2 weeks, because I want to read the novella first that takes place after this one. I think the title is The Lesser Devil. Yeah, I want to read that one first, and then I will read The Howling Dark. So that's all the novels and also short stories that I finished reading last month. As for manga, I only read one manga in the month of September, and it was basically the newest chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen. I cannot talk too much about this, but something super insane just happened in the latest chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, really insane. Whether you agree it is executed nicely or not, it is the craziest event to ever happen in Jujutsu Kaisen so far. Personally, I do not think the execution was so well done. The transition from the previous chapter to this chapter, chapter 236, it was not well done at all. It really felt like the author forgot to write one chapter and then immediately this just happened. So because of that, it felt jarring, but the result, well, the result of the events, I'm really trying to make this as spoiler-free as possible here, but the result is just absolutely brutal. It's brutal. And in the month of October, I definitely will have to read all the newest chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all the books and also manga that I read in the month of September. As for my favorite book of the month, of course, it will have to go to Empire of Silence. This is the only book that I gave a 5 out of 5 stars rating in September, after all. And also, before I end this video, there is a giveaway here. This is a big giveaway, and this is thanks to Shami Stovall, the author behind the Frit Chronicles and many other fantasy and sci-fi books. Highly recommend you to check out her books if you love Pokemon and also Harry Potter. But the giveaway will be for a laptop, a Elysium 14 laptop, and all the features you can see in the video here. The giveaway will be specifically only for US readers. And full disclosure, this giveaway is not my idea. This is all Shami Stovall's idea because she wants to contribute to making sure aspiring writer have a laptop to write their stories. All you have to do is very simple. You just have to like this video and also comment why you would love to win this giveaway. And of course, if possible, follow Shami Stovall on her social media and add her books to your TBR pile. I believe in you. But yeah, I think that's it. That's my September wrap up. And of course, do tell me what you think about my September wrap up. Of course, let me know how many books you finished last month. Which one was your favorite books of the month? As always, thank you so much for watching and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.